Welcome back. Now, in this video, we're going to be talking about 17 qualitative factors of killer sales letters. Now, we've already talked about the basic principles in a prior video that need to be part of your sales letters. We're going to expand on this by giving you 17 more qualitative factors that you can expand on in order to make your sales letters more dynamic. Now, principle 1. You want to in your headline, make sure that you have or put in there a character, someone that your buyer can relate to. And in general, one of the best ways to illustrate that character is to give them a point A to point B result oriented story, something that they started out one way and they ended up another way. And for you to communicate that in your headline is a way to grab your prospect's attention. Principle number 2 is called throw the hook. And what you're doing in your subheadline, and that's the headline that comes right after your main headline, is to reveal a hidden benefit. And in fact, every time that you can in your subheadlines reveal hidden benefits, that really does catch, first of all, the people who are scrolling down the page. And it also helps you to tell a story. What you're doing with your subheadlines, if you string them all together as you move down the page, they should tell a story all by themselves and really move the buyer closer and closer toward making a decision. Principle number 3. You want to create a character with personality and make them memorable. And there are 3 ways in which you can create that personality. That's the authority, someone who speaks from their own position, what they say goes. The expert, one who's got the experience and proven themselves to be that expert, and someone who can relate to the buyer. I was just like you, but I've achieved extraordinary results. So having a character in your sales letter from these perspectives, or one of these perspectives, again, draws in your buyer throughout the sales letter. Principle number 4 is you want to add in your personal story. Now, you don't want to make your personal story overly dramatic. Again, here's a case where moving from point A to point B, talking about how you experienced a change in your life, you experienced a change in the quality of your life, and using the principles that are inherent in your product or service. And this is something that you should communicate only if the prospect can relate to it. They can relate to an aspect of you changing your life or something that you know they desire to do. Principle number 5, social proof. In other words, you want your prospect to feel like they can do it too. And so you want to give them testimonials. You want to give them the opportunity to see people who have benefited from what it is that you're offering. In other words, a prospect is asking, has anybody else tried this? Most people do have a herd mindset, so they're going to move, and they like to see that other people have tried something before they move ahead. Principle number 6. You want to write to the primal brain. In other words, people really respond to things that they believe are going to be easy and simple, and they're not going to require any work, and that things are going to happen instantly. And people think this way regardless of how smart they are, regardless of what their IQ is. You want to talk to their subconscious. Their subconscious tends not to make difficult or complicated decisions. They answer questions like, should I or shouldn't I? That's the buying question that you want them to start asking, and that they will answer if you help them to do that by speaking to their primal brain. Their mind will turn off. You put complicated things in your copy or technical things, their mind's going to turn off. And so you want to speak to their primal brain in order to get them to make the decision in your favor. Principle number 7. Emphasizing the problem before the solution. Now, once again, you want to make sure that you don't present the solution before you talk about the prospect's problems. You want to make sure that prospect knows that you relate to them. They know that you understand what they are going through, and that you understand their fears. You understand what the problem will look like if it's carried out to an illogical conclusion. You exaggerate that problem. And you then are going to offer inferior solutions. In other words, you're going to offer solutions that are real, but that fall short of the one that you were going to offer to them with your product or service. Principles number 8 or 9. Now, principle number 8 is damaging admission. In other words, you know that no product is perfect, and you want to confess any minor drawbacks in a way that moves that buyer closer to the buying, to making a decision for you. Because look, this is going to eliminate your bad characters. It's going to keep the good ones. This is going to give your product a realness that will build trust with that buyer even before they make the decision to hit the buy button. Now, principle number 9: covert benefits. In other words, you don't want to talk about the features of your product, the things that your product is. You want to talk about how that product changes the lives of your prospects. A benefit is something that is a qualitative way that your life changes. Now, obviously, that's going to be it's going to be something that will answer the question, why is that important? In other words, you might have an ebook that you are selling. Well, why is it important that your prospect have an ebook? Well, it's important because they're going to learn principles in order to make more money. Well, why is that important? Because they're going to increase their quality of life. Well, why is that important? Because it's going to help them to live the purpose for which they were created. So you want to continue to ask the question, why is that important? And benefits effectively do that. So in this case, let's think about that ebook again. What's one of the benefits? Well, it's instant. You get it right now. There's no waiting. No waiting for shipping or delivery. You're going to get it right now. Once again, speaking to that primal brain, something that is something that the prospect really wants, and something that is really going to be important to them as they make that decision. Principle number 10, you want to add in smart justifications. In other words, you want to answer the question for the prospect. They're asking the question, why should I buy from you and not from someone else? And you want to start then talking about what's unique about your product and your service. What is it that you're adding to this that your prospect should make the decision for you? Why is this price the one that they should buy at? Well, that's important. You want to make sure that you're talking about the value of what you're offering and what they're really getting in real value. And why right now? Why is it important that they buy now? What is it that they're going to miss out on? What is it that they are going to gain from buying now versus later? They're asking those questions, and you want to help them to make the decision in your favor, but you have to do that by justifying what it is that they want to do. Principle 11, make the value exceed their expectations. In other words, you're going to be talking about they're going to get 10 times the value for just a certain amount. Or in other words, you want to make sure that yes, you're asking for a certain amount, but they're going to get so much more if they get your offer. And you're going to make sure that they are going to expect the price to be extremely high based on what they're reading until you finally reveal the price where you are really giving them an extraordinary value for an extremely low price. This is actually called price slashing in traditional marketing. And principle number 12, you want to work in your sales letter to increase the perceived value. Remember, you're not selling the thing. You're not selling an ebook. You are selling a solution to your customer's problem. And that's what you want to talk about. How their problem is going to be solved. How they're going to accomplish their dreams. This is not just not just the features that you want to talk about. You want to continue to pad and to pound the benefits so that they understand in those terms that, yes, it may not be necessarily realistic, but remember, they're thinking with their primal brain. You want to make sure that they understand. Their lives are going to be easier. It's going to be, they're going to get those results faster than they ever dreamed that they could. So you're increasing that perceived value all along the way. Principle number 13, a constant call to action. So in other words, you want to make sure that if your sales letter is going to be long, you want to give your buyer several opportunities to hit the buy button. You want to place order links throughout your sales copy. You can place one after the benefits and components. You can place another one after the bonuses and guarantees. You can place another one at the end. Anytime that there's a logical conclusion where your buyer is ready to buy, then you want to put a buy button there, because some people don't want to read your entire copy. They don't want to scroll all the way to the bottom of the page. And if you can convince them with one paragraph near the top of the sales letter and get them to hit the buy button, well, that's what you want to do. Principle number 14, scarcity. Now, this is one that you should have both at the end and even throughout. You want to communicate the fact that they're not going to be able to get everything that you're offering at the point at which they're offering unless they take action now. So you can limit the quantity, right? You can limit the time. In other words, you can say that this offer is only going to be available till a certain date or at a certain time. You can limit the bonuses. So in other words, yeah, you can get the offer at this price, but you're going to miss out on the bonuses if you don't get in at this particular time. And remember, you want to make sure that you add in that damaging admission. Yeah, the website's always going to be here, right? But your life's not going to change. Your life's not going to be any different unless you take action now. Continue to emphasize scarcity to the buyer. Principle number 15, illustrate the future for them and show them what their lives are going to be like if they don't purchase now, right? Tell them what's going to happen. If they don't act now, paint the picture with your words. Tell them what's going to happen if they don't take action. Principle 16, the hidden benefit factor. Now, in that PS, you want to make sure that you are hiding more benefits. Make sure that you tell them about how, again, more elements about how their lives are going to change, how their business is going to get better, how things are going to happen for them that are qualitative. You want to emphasize these in that PS section there at the end. Continue to reveal hidden benefits throughout the sales letter, and especially there at the end. And then principle 17 for killer sales letters is this. All sales writing takes practice, and the only way that you're going to get better at writing copy is to write it over and over. So as you create more products in order to increase your income, consider doing your own sales letters. Make sure you're reading other sales letters, and make sure that you're understanding what elements are going into these sales letters in order to get people to buy. You need to understand these things, because even if you're going to hire out a sales letter, you want to understand what makes a sales letter work, and you want to make sure you understand what good copy is as you begin to create more and more sales funnels and more products. Make sure that you're practicing often, this skill. And even if you have to work with someone else, and if you do someone else's copy, that's a great way for you to be able to get more experience in doing your own sales copy. Well, those are the 17 qualitative factors of killer sales letters. And it's a way for you to take the basic principles that we talked about in the last video and to take them and to make them more dynamic so that you can build a better sales letter that will convert more and more of your front-end buyers. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in the next video.